All right, we talked a lot about climate change. It turns out there are seemingly a lot of experts on this. We heard from Leo DiCaprio on this. Now, let's not knock the guy down. The guy got invested in the issue, cared enough about it. Don't like the ponytail, but okay. Do you have a problem, anybody, with celebrities weighing in on this? They're not getting paid for it, and they're putting some star power and getting some attention to it. Or do you think this is just some giant vanity trip?
It's the only way you're going to get some Americans to pay attention, or more Americans to pay attention to an issue with the celebrity factor. You must do that in this day and age.
It also depends on what they're saying. I mean, every time I see Ted Nugent or Victoria Jackson espousing some Tea Party virtue or some NRA cause, I cringe at it. So I can only imagine what the reaction would be from conservatives when there's a liberal celebrity doing the same thing. You have to know your stuff, and you have to be on point when you're making your comments.
I think it depends on the issue. Obviously, if Leonardo DiCaprio was talking about economics and how we should run this country, they were like, go
But he's not a scientist.
He's the Wolf of Wall Street. I mean,
that was the wrong way. My point.
My thing is, I look at Bono. The guy's raised billions,
right, bringing
to
attention
help
to
out
matters,
AIDS and other problems in the sub-Saharan. Okay,
Right.
This next one here. It's probably the most recent high-profile "I quit" in America, and for me, it's much more than that. There's so many things wrong with this thing. This is a reporter in Alaska who decided to end her journalism career on air live while reporting on a marijuana clinic, as you'll see in the piece, that it turns out she actually owns.
Now, everything you heard is why I, the actual owner of the Alaska Cannabis Club, will be dedicating all of my energy toward fighting for freedom and fairness, which begins with legalizing marijuana here in Alaska. And as for this job, well, not that I have a choice, but I quit. All right, we apologize for that.
It got worse when the poor anchor was left high and dry there, figuring out where to go next. All right, Dominic, I count a lot of things wrong with this. People thought it was funny and all this.
I don't find it funny. I feel it's offensive to journalists because it's clear that all she was doing was pumping her business, and we shouldn't across the country, that clip should not be played.
We debated it this morning whether or not we're just adding into it, but for me, anybody who laughed at, she stuck her coworkers on the ice, okay?
She didn't care about her coworkers.
Right.
All she cared about was, first of all, it's a conflict of interest for her to report on something that she owns, number one. Number two, it's not cool. Richard, we have reached the stage where journalists will do anything to be the subject of the story. Certain anchors on CNN who remain nameless, they don't know what they're talking about, and they'll go to the middle of a riot, look at me, I'm in the middle of the riot, scared to death, don't know what they're doing, and they're, oh, officer, don't touch me, so that they can be the subject of a headline. You know who I'm talking about.
I do.
I will remain nameless.
D and L. And Dominic and Andrew, what was your biggest problem with it?
You know, you're right. There's so much to it. There's all of that. She would have been fired even if she hadn't quit the job. That she cursed on the air and put the station liable for $300,000. The difficult position she put the rest of her colleagues in. Honestly, my biggest problem with it is I think she's going to set back the cause that she's advocating for in Alaska, and that's on the ballot this fall. It's on the ballot in November. Well, she may actually do more harm than good in all of this.
You understand this whole expression, there's no such thing as bad publicity? To me, I gotta think people aren't gonna be running out to her dispensary here. There's gotta be, I know it's marijuana, it's not brain surgery,
might not
but
be
still.
the target audience that's watching the late local news.
Well, look, I mean, I think what she did was in poor taste, but if it did bring costs or matter, and it certainly did bring attention to her plight. So there are going to be people who sympathize with her.
It brought attention to her. It didn't bring attention to the
exactly.
No. I didn't know anything about medical marijuana or in Alaska
until
until
they
she
should have
said
caught this before, and that's not the way things work. You got to have a certain amount of trust here for the person that gets the story. Okay, gentlemen, thank you all very much. All right, we're going to have a quick break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at some headlines making news in the Hudson Valley.